Hi there, this is Hemant Singh from Takshila Learning. Welcome to this another video. In this video, we are going to talk about the exploratory data analysis. So in this video, we are going to see what is the purpose of the EDA, exploratory data analysis, and what it is exactly, the EDA. So let's go and see what it is and what is the purpose. So the purpose of EDA is to explore the data, to get the information, to get the trends, to get the pattern in the data, and for that we are using either summarizing the data or we are using the visual effects or visual context like the data visualization. So to summarize these things, we have first thing is we have the descriptive statistics, and second we have the data visualization. So to perform the EDA by using the descriptive, we are using mean, median, mode, or we are using the percentiles, so or variance or a standard deviation. So to see how the data is spreaded over from the mean or from the median, or to check how the data is in symmetry wise, skewness we have. So it will tell how the data is spreaded over the axis. So this is how we can perform using the descriptive statistics. But by using the data visualization, we have to go for the different kind of plotting. Okay, so let's see what it is. Okay, so here the exploratory data analysis, when we are performing, we should always use the visual display. So that means we should always use the graphs, tables, or any numerical summarize like mean, median, mode, and it will describe the overall pattern and the mention any striking deviation from that pattern. Okay, so basically by using the EDA we can perform overall the pattern, what is hidden pattern inside the data, and by using the EDA we can interpret the results we got in the context. Okay, then while exploring in the data, we should explore each variable like x and y, all the x and all the y basically. So it is called as the univariate analysis. We'll come to that in the coming slides. Then we should always think about each x with y in pair. So it is about bivariate analysis. Okay, then we'll call about the all x, say x in the pairs. Basically we'll go for the x in the pairwise. Okay, so one or two variables in a pairwise we'll go. Then we'll go for the all x and all y's together. So here we'll try to make some kind of matrix, so where we will take all the attributes at a time and we'll see how one is affecting the others or how one is related to others. Okay, now the data visualization. So to get the best result from the data, we need to understand the hidden patterns or we need to understand the trends. So to understand these things, we should always prefer to go for the visual context. So for that, the term is coming in the picture, that is data visualization, where we'll try to visualize the data by using different kind of plotting graphs. Like we have the histogram, we have the scatter plot, we have the pie chart, we have the bar chart, we have the box plot. So there are many, it depends which kind of data we have. Okay, and it will allow you to find the patterns, the trends, the correlation between two different attributes. Okay, so data visualization basically it will help you to get the solution in easy way. Okay, then why data visualization? So to describe, analyze and summarize the data in visual form, we should always go for the data visualization, which will help you to understand the data properties, which will able to understand you. By the data visualization you'll able to find the pattern of the data, pattern inside the data. Okay, even it will suggest which kind of modeling strategy you should choose. Okay, and if we have some kind of bugs, so we can easily debug by using the analysis, by using the data visualization. And it is better way to communicate the result, because we'll see all the things is happening like patterns, the data trends, all these things will easily get through the data visualization and will easily communicate the result. Okay, So this is why we use the data visualization. Okay, so the next thing is coming when we come to the EDA. So first is the univariate analysis. So univariate means the one variable analysis. So it is very important, like first we should know which kind of the data, like if we have the categorical variable or we have the quantitative variable. So if we have the categorical variable, then we need to choose different kind of plotting. Then if we want like different kind of plotting, in the sense like we can go for the bar plot, or we can go for the pie chart, or even we can go for the box plot also, it depends. Then if we have the quantitative variable, then we can go for the scatter plot, or we can go for the histogram. So it depends like which kind of data we have, which kind of data variable we have. Okay, and variables are visualized and summarized differently based on the type of variable. Definitely if we have the different kind of data, definitely you will get the different kind of results, right? And we can't use all the techniques in all the type of variable. Then coming is the next, like univariate analysis for a categorical variable. Okay, so to distribution, the distribution of categorical variable is summarized by using a pie chart or a bar chart. Okay, so if we have like a categorical variable, so we can directly use the pie chart or the bar chart. Even I will suggest like sometimes you can use the box plot also. Okay, and numeric summarize, like it will, if you'll go for the category wise, so we can go for the count, like how much count in one group, or how much the percentage, or how much the proportion. So these things are coming in the pie chart also, and on the bar chart also. So let's see. So pie chart is a circular and uses pi width to represent the proportion of the whole for the sum categories. Okay, so basically pie chart represented in the circular form, and it is try to give the proportion of each values in the category. Okay, each basically each element, or I can say each category in the entire category, it will show the proportion, means how much one proportion or one category is available inside the entire category. Okay, it gives a good idea of proportion of the constituent, as I said. Then pi is divided par in polar coordinate. Definitely it is divided, it depends like how much the data is having, it will automatically divide, and it will separate all the categories. And a pie chart is usually better than the bar chart for judging the proportion. Definitely it will give the entire proportion, how much one portion is available on the entire category of the data. Okay, it is difficult to numerically compare different section of pie chart, or to compare data across different pie charts. So basically if we have more than one pie chart, basically, so it is difficult to compare these two pie charts. If one pie chart we can compare the categories, but if we have two pie charts, so it is little different to compare the data which is available. Not suitable if the number of sections are larger. So definitely if we have like 4, 5, 6 categories in a data, it is good for that. But if we have more than 6, 7, 8, like, so definitely don't choose the pie chart for the data, like to see the proportion of the data. Then univariate analysis for quantitative variable. So for that, like if we have the quantitative variable, so for that we are using the histogram, like, or a stem plot, or mainly for a small data set, but most of the time we are using the histogram. So histogram will tell the distribution of the data, means how the data is frequently distributed over the axis. And when describing the distribution as displayed by histogram, we should describe the overall pattern, basically the shape where the data has been, what is the data spreading, like where the data has been spreaded over the axis, like in the left side or in the right side. Then the deviation from the pattern, like we should it will also detect like is there any outliers are available inside the data or not. So histogram or bar chart or graph. So histogram or bar chart look like same, but these two are different. Okay, so bar chart mostly we are using for the categories, but histogram we are using for the numeric data, any quantitative data. Okay, so histogram gives the distribution of weight. In the left side you can see, so left side is the histogram and right side is the bar chart. Okay, so here histogram gives the distribution of weights of adults taken randomly from three different categories, sorry, different countries. Okay, so it is showing the distribution of age, sorry, distribution of weights of adults, and which has been taken from different three categories, countries, sorry. And bar chart compare number of people for these three countries. So here the age is like, it is showing the distribution of weight, but in the right side it is showing the how much people are available in that country. Okay, so these two are look like same, but it is interpreting different results. Okay, histogram shows the distribution of variable, while bar chart compare the variables. So see here it is comparing, like USA is having huge number of people, Mexico is having less, and Canada is having very less, right? So in bar chart we are comparing the variables, but in histogram we are showing the distribution of the variable. Then histogram plots like quantitative data with range of the data group into bins and the class interval, while bar chart plotted categorical data. So here these all are the blue types are the beans in the histogram. So when we are using a quantitative data, it will display all the, it will show the distribution and in the form of the beans, and similarly it will also do, but it will compare the beans, okay, with others. Then bar can be recorded in bar chart but not in histogram. Okay, so here like we can see like we have three, and but in histogram it depends like how we want to proceed, how we want to visualize that histogram. No space between bar of histogram, but there are gap in the bar chart bar. So definitely if you see here in the histogram there is no gaps between bars, but in bar chart we have gaps. So this is the difference basically in histogram and the bar chart. Okay, and like they will have the same width, even we can change it out, like it depends like how we want to plot. So definitely, then again the histogram is like a graph that displays the distribution of the data, and histogram categorized by the three constituents. First is the center, like mean. Okay, then second is the width, how the data is spreaded. Okay, and the third is all overall shape, like how much data is spreaded. Okay, so the application of histogram is like it the shape and the smoothness, then it comparison to a specification limit, comparison to source of variability, then before and after comparison we can perform this thing, then original data is the not preserved. Okay, so it depends, like if you are going for the skewness, definitely data will be not preserved same, but if you are directly just plotting the things again, definitely you will get. But again if you will fix that as a random seed, you will get it the same output. Then the next is coming as the box plot. So box plot provide another visual summary of a distribution, and it is also called as the box and the whisker plot. So here in the left side, this is the box plot. Okay, and the box plot consists of a box with two ends as the third and first quartile respectively. So it is showing, as it is saying that it is having a box which having the two ends here. One, the higher is the Q3, the upper quartile, and the lower is the Q1, lower quartile. But we can also say it as like 25% quartile or 75% quartile, and in the middle there will be the median. Okay, and two whisker are given are drawn from the third and the first quartile. So basically this is the whisker length, basically whisker distance from the upper whisker, upper, like the largest the data value from the upper quartile, or the lowest data value from the lowest quartile. So this distance between these two is the whisker. Okay, thus in one figure the box plot displays the central tendency and the dispersion as well as the skewness. So here in one graph you will try to, if you will try to solve these things, so you will get many things, like even we can see like how the data is spreaded, what is the median of the data, and if that median is good, like normally distributed, then it will be in the center, but if it is not, then it will vary like up or down. Similarly we can see if the data is not spreaded in the normally distribution, it will, if it is not following the normal distribution, then definitely it will go for the right or left skewed. So we can find out by using just a single plot here. And box plot is not only a great way to present the summary description of a random variable, but it is also a excellent tool to compare the number of distribution as well. So definitely we can compare. Then it is having like IQR and how to find the outliers. So basically here we have the outliers. So box plot is having, see here, this top dot circles are the outliers. So outliers is nothing but like the values which is not in the common range. Basically just imagine like we have the range of values like 0 1 2 3 4 5 and suddenly 10 is coming. Okay, so compared to this 0 to 5, 10 is the outlier. Okay, so these values are the outlier for this particular salary variable. Okay, so here while the range, qualifying the variability by looking at the range covered by all the data, the interquartile range measures. So interquartile range, thus like it is calculated by Q3 minus Q1. Okay, and this Q3 minus Q1, so it will give the IQR, interquartile range. Okay, and observation, like by an observation considered that suspected outliers are lies in between this range. Like if we have the data below this, like Q1 minus 1.5 multiplied by IQR, if the data is lies below this value, then it is the outlier. Or if the data is lies above this value like Q3 plus 1.5 into IQR, interquartile range, then those values are outliers. Okay, and if max or mean point lies beyond this point, then the whisker of box is extended only up to these points. Okay, and all points lying beyond them, all points lying beyond these values are treated as outlier. So definitely it is outlier. Okay, now univariate analysis, again for quantitative analysis variables. So we had already discussed, but here we'll see what are the. So for that, if you will go for the univariate analysis for quantitative variables, so for that we are finding about the mean, median, standard deviation. Then we will go for the like what is the minimum value, what is the maximum value, what is the first quartile, what is the second quartile like median, and what is like third quartile like Q3, and what is the interquartile range. And once you find these things, then definitely you will go and get the outliers, and we can find out the outliers definitely, and even we can treat it out. If the outliers is not that much impacting on the data, we can directly remove those things, those data. Then quantitative variable for numerical summaries. So the 5 numerical summaries and the IQR into 1.5, it is the criterion for detecting outliers. So as I said, these things are helping us to detect the outliers, and box plot is the most effective way when we use side by side for comparing the distribution. So one of the best reason I can say it is the outlier detection. Then the second is coming as the bivariate analysis. So bivariate analysis comes in the picture when we are going to see the relationship, or when we are going to compare two variables. Okay, so the first step is to clarify that the two relevant variable according to their role and the type. So if we have the categories, so we will take the try to get the categories to different kind of categories, and we will try to see how those are related or how these two categories are distributed. Okay, and then the only one then to determine the appropriate tools for summarizing the data. So definitely once you will get the data type and the data variable role, so definitely we will try to get some kind of summarization over the data. Okay, then if we are going to explore the relationship amount to comparing the distribution of quantitative variable, okay, for each category of explanatory variable, okay, explanatory variable, to do this we use the display side by side box plot. So basically here it's mean like if we have this if we have the two categories, okay, like male and female, and we have the numerical data over it, So we have to plot the side by side box plot. Okay, and we'll see the descriptive statistic for that, like we'll see the mean, median, mode, and even we'll see the maximum minimum values. So let's see what it is. So here, side by side box plot. So graphically shown that the relationship between two variable categories versus quantitative. Okay, so here we have two categories, male and female, inside the gender, and in the y axis we have the score, SSHA score, some score is there. Okay, it is the survey of study habit and attitude, SSHA score by gender. So see, we are comparing here categorical variable with quantitative variable. Okay, so see, this is the data distribution for the female and this is for the male. Okay, and you can see here the minimum value is the 70, the first quartile is 95, the median is 114.5, the third quartile is 144.5, and the highest value is 187. So this is like how you can compare by using side by side block plot of two like categorical and the quantitative variable. Then exploring the relationship amount to comparing the distribution of categorical response variable for each category of explanatory variable. To do this, we use two-way tables. So if we have like two different kind of categories or more than that, so we use two-ways table. Okay, and even like if we have numerical summarization, so we'll go for the conditional percentage. So of that conditional percentage of the response variable for the each value or for the each category of explanatory variable separately. So let's see what it is. So exploring the relationship between two categorical variables amounts to comparing the distribution of the response variable across the different value of the explanatory variable. So basically what it is trying to say, see here, we have the math difficulties level. So a kind of it is the level for the math, right? And we have the hard, average, hard, easy, right? And the total. But in the left side we have the gender like female and male. Okay, so these two are categories and we are trying to conclude by using the table, two-way table. So here the female, okay, so 560, the number of female is average, right? Similarly we have the hard here, so we can directly conclude. We have the easy here and we will see the total number of the student in female like 760 and the total number of the entire like male and female is 1200, where 855 is the comes in the average side, average like they are average in the math, and 235 is like the hard in the like math, they are having good knowledge, and in easy we have just 110 basically. Similarly we can conclude by using the percentage, same thing. So like 73% of the female is average in the math, 21% of the female is hard, like they are feeling very hard the math is. Similarly 4.9 is okay, they are some thinking okay it's easy, right? So it is like that we can conclude. So this is the conditional percentage and this is the two-way table to compare two different kind of the categories of variable. Then we examine the relationship using, like definitely we have the scatter plot when describing the relationship as displayed by the scatter plot, and we should consider like overall pattern, like how the direction is, what is the form and what is the strength, like where the data is mostly available and what is the deviation. Basically we'll get the outliers by using the scatter plot also. So let's see what is the scatter plot basically. So see here, this is the scatter plot. So definitely if you will see the left side, we can see the direction as well, how the data is spreaded. Okay, and again in the right side you can see the data distribution, and even you can find the outliers, the value which is lying outside the like these top values. So definitely we can think like this might be outliers, but it depends, like if we'll go for the calculation thing, we can exactly find out like is it like outlier or not. Okay, so this is the scatter plot where we'll find the relationship between two quantitative data type x and y. Okay, so these all are also, this is also comes in the bivariate analysis. Then we have the matrix plot. So matrix plot is also a kind of a scatter plot, but here we have like if and jf thing. So here the plotting contains, like if you take this I, so this will be j. Okay, so if I'll take the vertical is as I, so horizontal will be as j. So to conclude this type of matrix, this type of plotting, we can take like this. So this is like hits, and if we'll go for the this graph, so this is hits versus year. Okay, so here on the x-axis we have the hits, and on the y-axis we have the years. Similarly, if you go for this, so it is hit versus assists. So here x-axis will be the assist hits, and the y-axis will be assist. Similarly, if you go for here, so x-axis will be constant here, again hits. For all these plots, the x-axis will be constants, but y-axis will be vary. Similarly, here also, here y-axis is the hits, y-axis x-axis is years, and for all these two also, x-axis will be constant, y-axis will be vary. So this is how you can interpret the matrix plot. Now we have something, the correlation, and correlation is very important term in the comes up when it comes to like check the how one variable is related with others. So it is kind of a special case that the scatter plots display in a linear relationship, and only then we can supplement the scatter plot with numerical summarize. The correlation coefficient are measures basically the direction and the more importantly the strength of the relationship, linear relationship. So the correlation like coefficient lies between 0 and 1. So if r is more closer to 1, so it gives the stronger the like relationship or positive relationship, linear relationship. But if we will say like the minus like it will, if we will say like a -1 or 1, so definitely it is giving like positive or negative, but it is a strong. Okay, if we will go for the 0, it will not give that much a stronger relationship. Okay, then r is a unitless, definitely it is not having any unit, and it is influenced by the outliers and should be used only as a supplement to the scatter plot. Okay, when the relationship is linear, okay, as we had seen here, so see in this left side graph, this relationship is linear, even right side also this relationship is linear. Okay, so when the relationship is linear, we can summarize the linear pattern using the least square regression line. So definitely if the relationship is linear, we can directly put a line in between anywhere, and we'll see how the data is related from there. So here we had seen about the scatter plot and the correlation, and how we can plot the how the correlation is important in the scatter plot. Okay, now the scatter plot basically a scatter plot of the data with the various correlation coefficients. So there are different kind of correlation. So I have taken three, like one is positive, negative and 0. So if I have -1, you can see in the left side, if I have -1, the slope of the line is in negative direction. Okay, and but the relation, the values are stronger, the linear relationship is stronger because all the variable, all the values is available on the line. But if you see the second where r is 0, the basically the correlation is 0, the data is spreaded and the line is not fit for that. So you can't say like this is the linear relationship is stronger. Okay, but in right side again we have the r is equal to +1. So here you can say the linear relationship is very strong and the slope of the line is in the positive direction. Okay, so this is how we can conclude the scatter plot with the correlation coefficient. So in EDA basically we are trying to explore the data in different approaches. So basically we try to approach the like data by using like EDA by going for the descriptive statistic, then we will go for the univariate analysis, we will do the visualization thing for univariate, then we will go for the bivariate, and we'll again plot the graphs. We'll see how it is concluding the results, and the main thing is we need to design the questions, and then only we can try to get the answer by using the this data visualization techniques. So this is here. So thank you for watching the video.